So we don't want any kids walking around, and kids don't talk. Because if you do, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to bite your ear off. Well, I'm not that bad. But anyway, we want you to just don't talk or whisper, because the sound can pick those things up. Now, folks, we'd like you to have a sense of humor and laugh if you feel like it. But if you don't feel like laughing after the BYU got beat today, you're going to have your hearts full, and you won't care whether they won or lost. They lost, but we're going to make you warm your hearts up tonight with this show. Now, our show in January is Marriage Go Around. It is a delightful show for dating couples and for married couples and for old couples, and even the young kids like it. It's a fun family show called the Marriage Go Around. So we want you to keep that in mind. And we got a light one? I won't repeat myself, folks. Welcome. Now, I like to say this before we get started. I got a couple of jokes to tell you, and you might laugh at that. But I want to wish you a Merry Christmas in Hawaiian, which is Mele Kalikamaka. Now, is there anybody over there that can stand up and say Christmas in some other foreign language? Anybody up there? How about here? All right, stand up and say it loud.
Doing well.
And what language?
French.
Russian?
French.
Okay. All right. How about here? Anybody here? All right, stand up. Okay. Anybody over here? Well, anyway, folks, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're going into this closing show night here on your programs, and we're grateful that this year we're in the black and not in the red, so we appreciate your attendance over the years. And I think you'll thoroughly enjoy the shows we've got coming up this summer and through the winter shows and so forth. Now, folks, we really plead with you, please don't talk. Laugh all you want, but don't talk, because the sound is sensitive and it can pick you up. And we don't want to have to erase that. So anyway, we want to thank you for being here tonight. Now, I want to, you know, what happens when you take a missile at a man and a man's foot? What do they have in common? You have a mistletoe. Usually it's better than that. But we want to thank you for that. You know, and a lot of people wonder what the snowman does with his money. Well, he puts it in a snowbank. And this joke, folks, is 100 years old, but it still gets a ripple. And I've heard it all my life, and it was before I was born. Santa Claus was nominated Gardener of the Year because he could ho, ho, ho. Now, a lot of the young kids don't know what ho, ho, ho means, but you older folks know what it means, because we've all been out hollowing beats and all the rest of that stuff. Now, this is my favorite one here. The other day, this man was in the doctor's office, and he had his physical examination, and the doctor says, "My gosh, as old as you are, you're in great shape." He said, "I'm just so proud of you. You're taking your pills on time, and you're doing everything." He said, "Yeah." He says, "Is there anything else we can do for you?" And the man started to walk away. He said, "Yes, there is something you can help me with." The doctor said, "Well, sit down. What is it?" He says, "You know, I think my wife is having a hearing problem, and I don't want to upset her and try to tell her that because she's very sensitive to this." And the doctor says, "Well, I'll tell you what you do. When you go home tonight in your normal voice, you walk in, let her get ahead of you, and just say normally, 'Honey, what are we having for supper tonight? And if there's no response, then you close up the gap a little bit and say it a little louder. Honey, what are we having for supper tonight? And if there's no response, then get right up behind her and a real loud voice. Honey, what are we having for supper tonight? And his wife turned around and says, I've told you 3 times tonight we're having chicken. Well, anyway, folks, we want to wish you a real happy Merry Christmas and welcome to the Valley Center Playhouse. Thank you.